guys, and welcome to this online class. And for this video, we are going to be talking about the posterior cavity, also called the dorsal cavity. So, pick your paper and your pen and let's get started. Hi guys. Yeah, welcome back. Now, talking about the dorsal cavity, also called the posterior cavity. They are the kind of cavity located at the posterior. The word dorsal means posterior. At the posterior part of the what of the body. And posterior means the back. So if that be the case, it means the what? The vertebral column. So it's located at the what? At the posterior part of the body. And then the head as well is considered to be at the what? At the posterior part. So if those are the two things we can actually mention, it means the dorsal cavity is divided into just two. And the first one is what? The first one is the cranial cavity. Cranial what? Cavity. While the second one is called the what? It's called the vertebral cavity. Vertebral what? Cavity. Now, what is the meaning of the cranial cavity? And what is the meaning of the vertebral cavity? So, the cranial cavity is actually from the word cranium. Crane in front of it, which means cranium. And now the question is, what is the meaning of cranium? Cranium is actually from a part of the head. If we have head at this junction, our head like this, everything right here is our head. So we divided the head into what? Into two parts. So the first part is called the cranium, and the second part is called the face. So if you say the head is the combination of two things. The first one is your what? Your cranium. The cranium is right from here. So everything to the nape of the neck right here. That is the cranium. So where you used to wear your cap, so that is what your what? That is your cranium. But this place is the what? Is the face. So the cranium is from here to this here. I mean to this junction rather. And then here will be the what? The face. Now that's how we said the head is divided into two parts. The cranium and the what? And the face. Now, we are not interested in this face. We are actually interested in this cranium. So this cranium has two parts. The first one is what we call the vault. And the second part is called the base. Now, what's the meaning of that? A vault means a safe. If you check the dictionary, English dictionary will tell you that vault means a what? A safe. And what do you keep inside a safe? Something valuable. And now the base. What's the meaning of that? Base actually means the lower part of something. So it means the vault is keeping something valuable, which is the brain. And that will tell you straight up what this cranial cavity contains. So cranial cavity is under the cranium and it's keeping what? It's keeping an important organ called the what? The brain. And then the base is somewhere underneath, right? So the base is where this brain is sitting on. Now, let's use a pictorial illustration. Now, I'm facing you laterally now, my side. And I'm looking at this junction. So if I'm to draw this part of my head, this is what we are going to have. We are going to have a structure that looks like this. So and then you can have the face at this junction. But we don't need the face. What we are interested in is what? It's just the vault alone. Now, here, all this line, this curve, that's the cranium. The cranium what? The cranium. So, right here, we have a base. So this is the what? The base. And inside this place, we have an important organ called the what? The brain. So, the cranium now, the cranium, it has a vault. I'm sorry, this is not the cranium. All these bones, as in this curved shape structure, is the vault. The what? The vault that is keeping this organ, the brain. And the base is where this organ is sitting on. Now, the question is, all these parts, are they just a single bone? No, they are not. They are made up of different bones. Now, I said I'm facing you like this, so laterally. If that be the case, we are going to have this place now, the uppermost border right here. So, it's part of the vault. And then, this part is called the parietal bone. Parietal what? Parietal bone. So, we have two parietal bones. You'll be getting more understanding why we're talking about the skeletal system. So, the parietal bone is what? The superior part of the what? The superior part of the cranial cavity. So we are writing your structures in relation. Superiorly, what you are going to write is what? The parietal bones. So now, the next thing now is this part in front. This part in front is called the frontal bone. The frontal what? The frontal bone. Just like this. So this part is my frontal bone. And now, this part is called the occipital bone. Occipital what? Occipital bone. So the occipital bone is right here. And then, what next? We are left to the side. So let's clean this organ so we can have a view of the side. So we said this part now is the what? The frontal bone. And then this part is the what? Is the occipital bone. Now, this side, now, this diagram is showing my side view, which means it is the superior part, right? Now, this place. So, it is this place now. So, talking about this structure. And this structure is called what? It's called the temporal bone. Temporal what? Temporal bone. Now, we are left with the what? The base. If that be the case, the base is made up of two bones. The first one is called the sphenoid bone. Sphenoid bone. And the second one is called the what? Ethmoid bone. Ethmoid. So ethmoid bone. So those are the what? The structures in relation to the what? To the cranial cavity. So you will say the cranial cavity superiorly, you have what? You have the parietal bones, two parietal. So parietal bones. And now inferiorly, you will have the what? You will have this inferiorly, means below, the base, sphenoid and ethmoid bone. So the sphenoid, and what? An ethmoid bone. And then anteriorly now, in front, we have what? The frontal bone. So that is your frontal bone. And now posteriorly, you will have the what? The occipital bone. So occipital bone. And laterally now, by the side, laterally, you have the what? The temporal. So the two temporal bones. So temporal what? Temporal bone. And that is that about what? About the structures in relation for the what? The cranial cavity. Now, what does it contain? It contains the brain. We've said that earlier on. And apart from the brain, it contains something called the meninges. Meninges is the covering of the brain. We bring that under CNS, and you can have blood vessels too. So, that is that about that. As simple as that. Now, not to waste much of our time, for this vertebral cavity, it's actually from the word vertebra. And this vertebra means the backbone. The back what? The backbone. So, the backbone, there are a series of what? Of regular bones. So, let's say we have the spinal cord right here now. So, this regular bone, it surrounds it. It surrounds the what? It surrounds the spinal cord. So, now, these bones, they are called the vertebra. So, the backbone. And now, this structure inside this is called the spinal cord. The spinal what? The spinal cord. So let's say this marker is the spinal cord. If I hold it with my first hand, so this hand is the vertebra because it's surrounding the spinal cord. And then if I'm holding the lower part as well, it means these two hands now and this one, they are the what? The vertebra. And they are housing the what? They are housing the spinal cord. So which means the vertebral cavity is protecting the what? It's protecting an organ called the spinal cord. As simple as that. That is what it contains. Now, what about the structures in relation? I won't really emphasize on that much, but just say anteriorly by the body of the vertebra and posteriorly by the neural arc. Neural what? Neural arc. So, as simple as that. And that will be the end of what? Of the body cavities. So, in next class, I'm going to be talking about the cell. And before that, make sure you read all these things so everything will become easier while talking about the cell. So, I wish you the best of luck. Hi guys.